Hello and good morning, everyone. OnlyPositivity here. I have my coffee with me, ready to explore this new phase of life with you all. So over the past few years, I have gained a whole new perspective on life, and I've realized that life is too short to not be enjoying yourself while doing great things. So come along with me as I explore this new lens through fitness, photography, reading, traveling, cannabis, and much more. Looking forward to the journey, guys. And remember, only positivity. Alrighty, and we are live, boys. What's going on, man? How are we doing tonight?
Fantastic. Thank you for the booze. Thank you for the food. It's my first time here. House is beautifully done. Clearly your wife's doing.
She's
phenomenal.
She's killing it, man. You know, so I had this thing on my credit card account, so I get a notification for $50 or more. So I feel like sometimes she does like a lot of small purchases, so I don't get that notification, bro. And then I come home one day and I see a new tree. I see like all the nutcrackers over here and shit, man. I'm like, she got the strategy, bro. She got the vision way ahead of time.
You married correctly then.
You see, you know what I'm saying? How are you guys liking this whiskey?
Oh, it's good, man. It's smooth as hell.
Yeah, smooth.
Thank you for having us, brother. Seriously, man.
100%, man. I appreciate you guys being on here, man.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Morangi, always a good choice.
You know, man, I actually am a big gin guy, bro. So like I've always been on like gin and club soda with like a lime, like, you know, like that spritzer type shit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And like once I started hanging out with the Mulu crowd, like not to generalize here, man, but like they got me on the Hennessy and the whiskey, right? That's a couple staples, man.
Oh yeah. I think at any and every wedding we've played that, there's always Hennessy, there's always Glenfiddich or Glenlivet, right?
Dude, 100%, man. And are you guys are big into whiskey? I'm assuming.
Oh hell yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
What's like a go-to whiskey? Like this one's like a special occasion one. What's like a go-to one for you guys?
A go-to, I mean, for me, I'm a little different from the rest of the community, and I mean, I'm more into whiskey, so Lagavulin 16 year is my personal favorite. I love the smoky whiskey.
That's what I'm saying. It's a little peaty, you know?
Yes, I love that peatiness.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say any Glen.
Glen?
Yeah.
I tried to have like an Irish whiskey phase, but it's like different, man. It's like it's not in that category of like classy scotches. You know what I mean? Like you can't even call it that. No. It's a whiskey at that point.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Even though the Irish were the first actually to create whiskey, they don't call it Scotch. Scotch only comes literally from the English in Scotland for obvious reasons.
Right.
But yeah, Irish whiskey. I like my Irish whiskeys, but they're completely different. They don't have those smooth qualities in a sense. But
Yep.
They're very. You have to have that specific taste.
Yep. So like if you guys are at a wedding performing, right?
Yeah.
You guys obviously get to take advantage of the open bar. What's the cocktail? Like what are you getting?
Hennessy soda, Hennessy pineapple.
All
Those
right.
two are the go-tos, man.
Hennessy
pineapple juice.
Pineapple juice?
Oh yes.
Yo, I haven't had that one, dude.
Oh, you have to.
You got to get me on one of
those. It's a Molu staple, man.
Okay.
It's a Molu staple that I've never actually seen myself, and Jonathan was the one who introduced it to everyone else in the band.
Yeah.
But it's actually phenomenal,
dude.
Can't go wrong.
You too?
Yeah,
same?
definitely.
Yeah, man. I'll stick with the gin and soda, but like depending on like the crowd, I kind of like a Henny ginger, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's fair.
If they got that, man, like the ginger beer, like really cuts the edge off of it, dude. So I'll like it just really depends on who I'm with. You know what I mean? Like like when sometimes I don't want to be that oddball out, like having like a crystal clear drink when everyone's like, you know what I'm saying, like a brown drink and stuff like that. I'm just like, dude, I gotta go with the flow on this one, dude.
Brown drinks are common at every Indian wedding.
Yeah, man. It's funny because like even like at the Guju things, it's Jack and Coke. That's the staple, man. Like, and I'm like, I don't even know where that comes from. You know, like I guess like you, I bet like some Indian person was like, oh, like, you know, Johnny Walker, or, you know, fancy, you know, and like they're like, this is the drink now, right? I don't know, man.
Yes.
But like when I was in college, I used to watch these like day in the life videos of like Wiz Khalifa and stuff, and he was always on the gin, dude. And I was like, the Bombay Sapphire bottle looks really cool, so I was like, let me try that out. And like it does not taste good by itself, but it tastes really good when you mix it with things.
Yes,
you know, it's very subtle, like lemonade and stuff like that. You know, so like then I started sticking with that. You know, that was like But when, dude, I was just talking to Melissa today. So like I didn't start drinking until I was 21, right? So like the first thing I went to was like tasty beverages, right?
Okay.
So one time, like, you know, a group, like we were in like Sasa and stuff in college, and like some of the girls came over and they brought rum chata. I was like, this is fucking awesome, dude. And I was like, I'm a new drinker, right?
Yeah.
So I had a phase
well, even when I was out with the guys, I'd be like, yo, at the bar, like rum chata shots, like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that?
That's more of a Christmas drink for me, but I think, yeah, no, the very first drink I had at, hopefully my parents are not listening, but when I was actually 20 in college. Up until then, I was just like pretending to take shots, just chucking it behind my shoulder. But when I was 20, I'm like, you know what? Pass my physics final, let's go. Let's drink a bunch of wine.
Let's
Drink
go.
a whole bottle. That was my very first drink.
Is it wine?
Yeah. Not a big wine guy anymore.
Wine will get you.
Yeah,
dude.
wine will definitely.
Definitely get you, man. Like, and like the red wine, like if you have a red wine hangover, dude,
Yes.
that's worse than like, I think any alcohol hangover, man.
I
It's
agree.
Worst. But no, man, dude, I appreciate you guys doing this with me tonight, dude. I'm really excited, right? And I know like before we hopped on, we were talking about some bigger life things, but dude, I'm really excited to dive into some of your specific items like Kochuveettil beats, right? So do you guys know any of the history behind like gender and like stuff like that? Do you guys know any of it? Like, does that resonate with you when you guys prepare for things?
Definitely. I mean, I think Jeffrey, Jonathan, and I are relatively well versed, but I think Jonathan has a better track record because he actually went to India and trained
I saw that.
with them, so he knows all about this on a next level basis.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that, man.
Yeah, so chenda is a cylindrical instrument. It's made out of jackfruit tree, and the skin around it is leather skin. And it's determined by like the tension of the ropes. So it's handmade and it's pulled and things like that. So you bring this instrument to the States and it's a different climate here.
Yeah.
You know, it gets detuned so quickly.
Yeah.
So, you know, every couple months I have to get it re-robed and tuned.
Especially at the rate you're probably using it too.
Oh yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yes.
Every couple months, man.
What did this start with? Like, when did this whole gender thing, not for you guys, but like historically, like what is the purpose of it? Like what was it used for back in the day, if you know?
Mm-hmm. So I don't know too much of the details, but it's a traditional Hindu instrument, right? So it's played at temples, any religious events, things like that. That's what it started with, right? And then there's different, I'm not going to go too much into the details with it, but there's so many different type of melodies and rhythms. So, like, there's party style, you know, like hype type of rhythms. And then there's also traditional rhythms that are played in front of the temples and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we stepped in, you know, with the more, like, the less traditional stuff, the more party beats and things like that make people hype. We started incorporating that into our weddings.
Yeah. You know, like, I think as young, like, South Asian folk, right? As we have our own flavor, right? Like, we're American born.
Yeah.
And we keep a lot of the American traits, but we're Indian too, right?
Yeah.
And we keep a lot of that too. And every Indian kid has their own flavor of that, right? Like, you guys bring the party beats from a traditional instrument into like the 21st century, right?
Yes. No,
and,
that's exactly it.
Right? That's your craft. But like, I'm always interested to hear, like, you know, as experts in your craft, right? You guys have probably done your deep dive, right? On like, where this come from? Like, this was part of my childhood. This is part of my heritage and things like that. I just wonder if that plays a part in like when you guys perform.
Definitely. I mean, for Jonathan, he learned with his dad and some of his dad's mentors, you know, ever since he was a child.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't actually have that background when I learned Chenda as young as he did. Actually, if anything, I first picked up the Chenda 3 years ago. So for me, it's very brand new. But, you know, growing up in a Malu family, watching all these Malayali films, you know, seeing how they celebrate different events, religious events or cultural events in India, I've seen that in person as well. I was able to pick that up pretty quickly because, you know, I remember it's from my aspect, I didn't see more the religious side because, you know, we're Catholic, so I didn't see it at Hindu temples, but I saw it at, you know, when people were out celebrating, whether it be Christmas or just celebrating, you know, something going on for family or something in the city. You'd see the whole procession of people, a whole bunch of drummers, you know, you see the caravan of people, the elephants and all that. And that in itself, that actually resonated with me, you know, growing up.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like, you took that, right, from that experience. And like the so like going back into the day, right? Like, you know, when I read like history books and stuff like that, and you talk about like archaic religious experiences, right? A lot of time what they would do is play a drum for a long period of time because that repetitive sound like puts you in a trance, right? So they would use like these types of instruments for like euphoric experiences, you know, or like religious out of body experiences and things like that.
Yeah.
And you know, like to see, I don't know if Lechenda was used for that, maybe, right? But to see a progression of it into like the present day is so interesting for me that it sticks around in that way, you know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, go ahead.
I think in a sense, it to this day, I think it brings people into this kind of trance. But in this case, it's more like more to celebrate, you know, weddings, celebrating the union of two people, two families, to bring people into a partying mood, into a hey, congratulatory mood.
Yeah.
So that does. You're absolutely right. So what started completely religious, we've taken to, you know, celebrate and enjoy marriage.
Yes.
So
Yep.
So actually, what you're talking about, like that 3-hour, 4-hour thing, it's played back home traditionally like that, right?
Yeah.
But given in like us being wedding performers, you know, we have 5 minutes to play,
Yes.
so we give that snapshot, right, of what people want to hear.
Yeah.
But there is usually that climax. I mean, like melodies or rhythms are supposed to be played for hours on end, you know, starting with that slow progression and building up
Yeah.
and creating that memory, right?
Right.
But, you know, because people have such a short attention span, a lot of people, you know, when we have that 5 minutes, we try to keep it pretty energetic, people pretty upbeat at that time.
I mean,
you know?
it's like you know, as time has gone on, that instant gratification, right? Like people want it quickly, right? Like your performance at Melvin and Serena's wedding, like you guys came in hot, right? You guys commanded attention, right? That room had like 400 people in it probably.
Yeah.
When you guys came in, everyone stopped, everyone shut up, right? Because they're like, these guys are here, you know. And what was, like I said, again, going back to the theme of it, is like, this is a very traditional thing. It's like, you know, she's here or he's here, we're doing a little bit of thing for he's here, but at the same time, we're fucking head bobbing in the audience, like this is a sick beat, right? Like you got a trumpeter there, you got some of the frills on it that are bringing it into the new age. Do you know what I mean? And like I think, you know, we were talking about like some of my like old school religious experiences, right? With like, you know, breaking away from things like that. And what's frowned upon, I think, is sometimes bringing it into the 21st century, right? Like trying to make it relatable for like common culture and things like that, right? You guys are wearing the mundas, you guys have the traditional things going on, but like you're making it relatable in a way that people still want it, right? And I think that's part of your craft. Am I wrong?
You're absolutely right. I mean, it always takes someone else to explain what they see for me to understand really what it is, but you're absolutely right. I think part of it is, you know, we have to represent the culture back home the way, you know, the uncles and aunties are used to it, but we also in USA want to bring another level of hype to our generations. But that being said, there's nothing wrong with killing two birds with one stone, right? Having both. So that's where, yeah, even though people have a low attention span, or maybe there's not enough time, when we're there, we're there. You know, we hit hard, we hit fast, we get everyone paying attention to the bride, the groom, us, obviously, because that's the only time we have.
Yeah.
You know? But then in that short time that we have, we've learned to, you know, master the craft to the point where like relatively everyone is pleased.
Yeah.
We can't please everyone,
right.
but I think we do our very best to represent the culture in all age groups for any occasion, really.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I like to bring in particular is the church exits that we normally do.
Yeah.
You know, the bride and groom step out for the very first time as officially, you know, one, and that's when we go hard, you know, and everyone blows up at that, you know, and that's something that's a bit newer in my experience, where it's not just the religious aspect, but it's like, hey, we're here to celebrate you. We're going to do it now. We're going to do it hard because you are coming in strong into this new life that you've built for yourselves. So we're going to come in as strong for you.
Dude, I love to hear that type of stuff, man. Because you know the thing is like, I love that part of like Malu ceremonies, right? But for that reason, because you know we don't have that, like, you know, so like Hindu people have that like a vidai, right? So it's like a sad thing, like, you know, it's like
it's
melancholic, like people cry during it, you know, like whatever, you know. So but for you guys, right, you take something that people it could be ordinary, right? It could be, oh, they're getting out of the church, walking out the party bus, you know?
Yeah.
But you guys stop it, right?
Yeah.
You guys stop it.
We stop everyone in
and
their
you
tracks.
make it a moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you get people like it's like chaos, man. It's like wild for a minute, for whatever long time it is, right? It's like people are just like going wild. People are like, they're moving their bodies. They're like you know what I mean? They're kind of like in it, and you guys make that happen, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that I'll see you doing in a lot of like the videos, you know, Jonathan, is like like you're razored in, right? Like you're not looking down. You have like a gaze, like, you know what I mean? It's like this.
Yes.
You're locked in.
Yes.
And I'm like, holy shit! Like this guy's doing it, man.
Yes.
This guy is in X Factor mode, you know. And what I'm thinking about, like, is a lot of things, right? But like, what I'd be interested to hear more about is like, so you guys practice a lot, right?
Yeah.
But how do you account for that? How do you account for the variability in like reading the audience, right? Because I feel like you can practice for it, but it's like a on the spot thing, right?
Correct.
So like, is that just like years of doing this, or?
I think there's definitely an experience aspect. To be fair, in my opinion, I think everyone else in the group has way more musical experience than me.
Sure.
Whether it be, you know, middle school band, high school, whatever, or Jonathan who travels to learn all this. So a lot of it is experience. But after, in my opinion, I think after doing, you know, 4 or 5 of these gigs, you should be able to read the room if you're a part of Kochuveettil Beats.
Okay.
And I honestly can say that everyone in our group can definitely read the room. You know, they know when to turn it up. They know when to simmer it down. But above all else, whatever they do, they know to bring the sauce.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. If the room is dead, we're bringing the sauce. Okay? Because that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
That we owe it to the couple. We owe it to the clients to bring the sauce.
Right.
Right? But to answer your question, yeah, I think it's experience. Experience not in just drumming, in music. No, it's experience in being at the venue, being at a gig like this.
Right.
Do you agree? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, my brother Jeffrey, he's the guy that runs all this stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He told me, he's like, does not matter what's happening outside. You guys lock in as a group, feel each other's energy, and just keep going. Does
That's
not matter
awesome.
what's happening.
Yeah.
You know. So I've brought that to the table, and every performance I think about what he says.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of that, and just like, you know, keep the energy going.
Yeah,
So-
dude. Jeff with the advice all the time, man.
Yeah,
the
bro.
knowledge. Yo,
So
Jeff,
that's why he's the
Jeff, you gotta hop
president.
on with us, man. You gotta do another
Bro,
one with us.
that's the other thing. When I see this guy, you know, we feed off of each other's
Yeah,
energy.
we
you
feed
know?
off of each other. I mean, Jonathan and I will be traveling, you know, across the country, and it's just us two sometimes. So it could be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Los Angeles, for example, we traveled for the first time ever to Los Angeles, and we literally knew no one there.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just us in a room full of like 800 people, and all eyes were on us because we were the only guys there. And they're like, "Oh, what are these instruments? Like, what's going on? Like, oh, is that Chenda from back home?" And to me, it was relatively nerve-wracking. But then I turned to Jonathan. I'm like, "Wait, this is my boy. We go way back.
He's got me.
He's got me,
Yeah.
and I got him no matter what. So we feed off of each other, you know, no matter what."
I think that's like the strongest thing in the world, man. Like when you have that,
Yeah.
like you have, and like you can go forward without any fear or even any like nerve, you know. So like, for example, you get to the point where you're not even like, you don't even need to really zone in on what's down here, right? Because that's coming naturally, right? And you got the periphery. You're like looking around, you know. To me, that's like that comes from your squad, right?
Yeah.
That comes from your squad. Even if you mess up a little bit, they're gonna adjust, right? They're gonna be like, "Oh, I know him better than maybe he knows himself." You know what I mean? I know he's about to like hiccup a little bit, you know.
Yes.
I see that time and time again with like what you guys do on social media, right? It's like everyone's looking at each other, right? No one's looking down.
Yeah.
Everyone's really, really good at what they're doing, and they're reading. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, you're looking at him. He's looking at you. You know what I mean? And it's like this like communication with no words, bro.
Exactly.
And that's music. That's music right
Yes.
there.
It's like you said, music can be spiritual, but in all honesty, music connects us to one another.
Yeah.
And I think one of the strengths that we all as a group bring is we're able to understand one another.
Yeah.
And there are times when, you know, someone understands Jonathan better than Jonathan might understand himself, you know, and vice versa. So it definitely helps that we all understand each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
You know, what makes us tick, what makes us go off and go hard. Hey, if Jonathan wants to play a crazy solo, what am I going to do to back him up to keep him in time, you know?
To complement it.
Exactly.
To make it like come to life even more, right?
Yeah.
You can't teach that, right? That comes with like perfecting craft, man. And like that's one of the main reasons I reached out to you guys in the first place to do this thing is like, you know, like I think a lot of vendors, like we were talking about before, like they get the ego thing going, right? And it's like I'm gonna bring the standard thing to you, right? But I'm like, nah, man. Like you're doing things for people's weddings, right? Like it might be something you do every weekend, but it's not something everyone does every weekend, right? So for me, what's really interesting is how you guys get into the momentum week after week after week, and you continue to bring like the first time energy, you know, because I see it, man. Like I've been to a bunch of weddings where you guys have performed, right? And they've all been equally as hype in their own way, not apples to apples.
Right.
Like your performance at my wedding was different than your performance at Sam's wedding, but they were equally as powerful, you know?
Exactly.
So I wonder what you guys do, you know, on the back end and all these things to like get that going, man.
So from my end, so Jeffrey and I, we do our very best, and I think Jonathan does a phenomenal job of this too. When we're working with clients, we want to know exactly what their vision is. I think since we all come from like a corporate background, we care about, you know, meeting client expectations in a sense, right? So just bringing like a little bit of business and corporate structure into music. But if the client isn't satisfied, then we could play the craziest drum solos in the world, and if that's not what they want, then, you know, it doesn't matter, right? That's what we do in the back end. We're there to communicate with them. We're there to, if they don't know what they're doing, we bring them suggestions, you know. Jeffrey does a phenomenal job saying, hey, like it's like you said earlier, like Jeffrey will sometimes say like, hey, these are the songs you should throw down, or hey, this is what we think the procession should look like. Hey, let's let the due to the venue like layout, let's have the drummers stationary for these entrances and let them roam around for the other entrances. So like we all have a pretty good idea, even before we're there, venue layout, client expectations, any extra factors, right? We make sure we know those before coming into a venue. Unlike other, you know, potential music groups where they're like, oh, we're going to show up and we're going to figure it out on the go. We try our very best not to be like that. Obviously, there's a lot that, you know, we have to do on the fly. We let it flow. But there's still those three main things where we have to know ahead of time.
You're going to leave a little room for like variability.
Right? And anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So it's up to us to figure that out on the fly. But for less things to go wrong, we know exactly what we should bring.
Yeah, dude, 99% hard work, right? 1% variability, right?
What do you think?
Absolutely, bro. I feel like the conversations that we have with the clients, just kind of bringing their vision out, that's what helps us create that variability between each performance. So
you know them a little bit, right? Like you have a personal connection with them. Like I can speak from experience, right, with you, because you know, you played at the wedding, right? And again, we were talking about it just before, right? Like, I'm not rigid, right? Like, I'm a student. Like, I like to learn a lot. So, like, I'm never gonna, like, I'm gonna tell you what I want from, so it's my wedding, right? I'm gonna tell you what I want from you, but I also want to know what you can do. Like, can you go buck wild on me, dude? Can you show me something that you, like, you know what I mean? Because, like, if I was put in that reverse role, and you were like, yo, Ummer, like, I know you got something down there, dude. Like, bring it up. I'll be like, yo, bet. Like, you know what I mean? You're going to see a new version of me tonight, you know? So, like, I feel like I need to leave room for you guys to do that, right? I don't want to put you in a box. Why would I? You guys are creatives, right? Like, who knows what you can do, right? So, like you come to the Bharat, right? Like, it's not your daily driver, right? You don't always go to Bharats, right? Like, sometimes, you know, you do it. But because I was like, dude, like we got this, right? Like I'm gonna stick by you, you're gonna stick by me. You know kind of what I want. You're gonna make it come to life, and without even like putting like words to it, you did, right? Like you made it come to life. Everyone was talking about like the dolly at my wedding. They're like, oh, that dolly you hired was like better than anyone, and I'm like, yes, right? Because one, he's fucking dope as fuck. But two, we stuck together on this, right? Like it was a mind share. I wasn't like, yo, I know everything about weddings. I was like, tell me what you got, man. Tell me what you can do, you know? But do you have a lot of clients like that, or is it kind of all over the board?
It's all over the board.
Yeah.
Bro. Some people have specific requests. Some people just say, "Hey, do your thing."
Yeah, yeah.
So either way, bro, we try to deliver
You bring it.
the best we can.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I actually do appreciate that when people have specific requests.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, either way, it works because sometimes you going into another state or going into another territory you may not know, but the client may have some specific song request or, say that the most of the people that are attending this wedding like this type of music. It's better to know that,
Yeah.
so we can cater towards their needs.
Yeah, man. You know, I like the humility that you guys bring.
Quite frankly, none of us have the time for ego. We're all busy with our day jobs and practice. So
Yeah.
I think there's no place in music for ego, unless we're rappers, I guess. But when it comes to drumming, there's a clear quality difference between the people who are doing it for the ego and the clout versus the people who do it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
And that's why we're always evolving with our music.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like and you hit it right on the head. It's like, even with the podcasting I'm doing, like I'm not claiming to be a podcaster, right? I'm not like an expert at it, but like I'm doing it to do it because I don't know if it's gonna be good for me or not, but I think it is. Just like maybe drumming is not good for you. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But you guys are being students of it.
Yes.
You're not claiming that you're the best at it.
No.
You're like, dude, I do this as a thing. This is like a hobby of mine.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to link up on it, let's link up on it. I can take that every day of the week versus someone who's like, I'm the best at this shit, and you are honored to be in my presence. Like, no, I'm not, dude. I'm not really. I could go to anybody and like hire a drummer, right?
Yeah.
But I want to go to someone who likes this, right? Who's thinking about it even outside of our conversations, right? Like you're doing your thing, like on Instagram, you're showing your practices, right? You're showing that you're hustling. And I'm like, this dude, even if like weddings were in the mix, I feel like you'd be doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, like in 2020 when the pandemic hit and 98% of our weddings were canceled or moved forward, we were still all practicing on a weekly or, a bi-weekly basis. Whether or not there were weddings, we're all practicing chanda, drum set, marching snare, whatever. And if anything, we improved all of us.
Yeah.
As a whole, we've improved because of that.
Yep.
So to this day, I think, yeah, you're right. I mean, yes, we're performers, and yes, we're, we're a startup, we're a business. But to be fair, it really is about the music.
Yep.
It's about representing the culture, and it's about combining the two so that we create a phenomenal wedding night for the bride and groom.
And I love that. I love that you have that contribution. You know what I mean? Like you can make someone's like memory for the rest of life. Like you can.
No,
and,
and that's why I'm honored to be at all these weddings. Like, I mean, I'm just a dude from, Des Plaines. Like, I play some drums. So, like, thank you for, like, I quite literally, tell my bride and groom, thank you for having us here, Like, I genuinely, I'm honored that you considered having us as a group. Yeah. I'm honored that you've considered having me there, So, of course, I'm going to go all out for y'all. And that takes a different shape and form at every other wedding, right? But that's the whole point. I don't think anyone has walked into a wedding from Kochuveettil Beats like, oh, we're in the house, respect us. No.
Right. Like Kochuveettil Beats is here, like I think that like it's such like, when you guys are like we were talking about before, like where you guys feed off each other, right? And I think like the best form of competition comes from that type of dynamic, right? It's not actually about the end result.
Yes.
But again, you're saying, hey, Manu, let me show you what I'm going to do right now, right? Match me on that,
yes.
right? I'm sure that's happened with you guys, right?
Absolutely.
Time and time again. Anyone outside of Kochuveettil Beats can even also attest that. Jonathan and I have a crazy rivalry that's actually started since like 2008 when we first met. So, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But how bonding is that rivalry, right? That rivalry is actually brotherhood, right?
He is my brother from another mother, and I'll always love him for it because without Jonathan Thomas, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah. Love it.
Going back to what you were saying, bro.
I'm still the better drummer, though.
Yes.
It was when it becomes a passion before it becomes a business, it's something else, man. It becomes part of your life,
Yeah.
Like I started playing chanda when I was 2. Like watching my dad play at the church, like in the early 90s,
Yeah.
It becomes something. And then I was going back to India and learning with the traditional Ashan, an instructor, who was playing chanda traditionally, and I'm going to him every year. And then also incorporating like drum set. You know,
Yeah.
5, 6 years old. That's when I started at Quinlan and Fabish. That's where like my
Quinlan and
first.
Fabish.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, that's where I
oh
started
my
too.
God,
Yeah.
dude.
So actually, that's what I was gonna say. I started my first lesson when I was 5, 6 years old, right?
Wow.
Between 5 and 6, and I saw another guy on the roster, right? It was like Manu Sunny. Who is this dude? You know, like he was the only other Malu dude in the game playing drum set at that time. You know, like
So you guys known each other since you were 5.
So-
we knew of each other. I actually did not meet him until a little later, and I'll get to that story in a bit. But
Yeah.
we had the same drum instructor without realizing it.
Yeah.
So I was, if you were 5 or 6 that time, I was probably 10 or so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
my mom had the virtue. Thank you, mother, for teaching or trying to get me to learn music instead of karate, which actually worked out because I had a knack for it growing up. I couldn't play any other instrument though, but drums, like for some reason I had a skill, and it all started at Quinlan and Fabish.
Quinlan and Fabish, bro. So like I play the viola.
Oh,
growing
heck
up.
yeah.
So like I know all about Quinlan and Fabish.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Cheers to Quinlan.
Yeah, dude. Like I, you know, not to like derail the conversation too hard, but like so I played the viola growing up, and like my dad was like all child prodigy about it. Like he was like private tutors, gotta be in the best orchestras, IMEA, like all this stuff. Do you know what IMEA is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like all that stuff, man. So like
impressive.
I was like really, really into it, but not in a passionate way, where it was like something I would do outside. You know what
Like
I mean? I was good
on
at
your
it. Like I was in the top orchestras, right? All that stuff. But it's like, man, music it took on like this like corporal punishment vibe for me, and I was like, you know what? I need to reform my relationship with music because it needs to be like flowy. You know what I mean? It needs to be something that like is natural and makes me into a better person and gives you that like kind of friendly competition that you guys are having, right? And like only as of like the past 5 years has that been happening for me, right? But like what we were talking about right before this is like music has therapeutic effects to it, man. And when you turn that into something that's like not it, you're doing it a disservice. You know?
Exactly. No, you're spot on there. For me, I think I speak for Jonathan and Jeffrey as well. Like, I mean, you know, Jonathan's a PT, Jeffrey works in a hospital, and I mean, I run client services and all that. But music is the way we de-stress.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
it's our way to just turn off all corporate America and, you know, college and all that, and just focus on enjoying ourselves and just enjoying something that we can create. Something that flows from inside us.
I could be wrong, but like, cause I don't see you guys in your normal like day-to-day environments. But I guarantee you guys smile the most when you do your Kochuveettil beat stuff.
absolutely, bro.
Right.
Spot on.
Yeah, it's like
My friends have said that, so I'm inclined to agree.
yeah. I mean, this Manu's got a permanent fucking creepy smile on when he's playing the cello, dude. Like he's locked in, bro. He's locked in.
Whereas Jeffrey and Jonathan always roast me for having the thinking face whenever I'm playing.
Okay.
Bro, I swear, drummers make the ugliest faces. Dude.
Dude,
They're in their
true.
zone, bro. Is something else, man. Yeah.
Dude, like I can, if I had the opportunity, like, so I was you were doing, so you know, today I was texting you about like subscribing to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So like I was looking at some of your YouTube stuff, right? And you were doing this like remix to like a thing, and you're slapping the fucking thing hard, man. And there's no way you can keep like a cheesy smile, right? Like you're like just engrossed, man. Like you're fucking smacking the shit out of that Jenna, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, this is not a smiling activity, bro. Like you're gonna make an ugly ass face for that. Dude. There's no way you can be normal, you know?
No, definitely not.
Dude, it's funny because sometimes my brother's like, dude, try to look normal.
No, don't try to look
Yeah.
normal, bro.
Yeah,
Don't try to look normal, man.
If you look normal, you're not going to sound clean. You're not going to sound good.
Nah, man, dude. What is normal?
Exactly.
Well, that's
Exactly.
fair. Yeah, what is
Like-
normal?
like-
it's relative.
Yeah.
Like don't try to do anything else, but like do what you want to do, man. Like I like you know what I'm saying? Like when you do that shit, I'm sitting there like in the back, like yo, shit,
Yeah.
I'm getting there. You know, like I'm like yo, I want to see that more often because, dude, you realize like how put together we have to be every moment of the day, man. Like, dude, let it go, bro. Like let the shit just come through your body and just like. You know what I mean? Like, hit it. You know?
Absolutely. It definitely helps to unravel yourself every once in a while. So we do it on a weekly basis and it shows.
Dude, you know, like, as polished adults, like, we lose that grit, right? Like, and that's one of the reasons, again, like, why I connected with you guys, right? Because, like, yeah, you know, as an adult, like, I want to be refined, I want to talk well, I want to have good vocabulary, I want to be, you know what I mean? But what I don't want to lose is that grit, that young boy energy, right?
Yes.
I want to be like, man, sometimes I want to do something just because, like, I want to do it. Like, I don't need to have, like, a financial goal tied to it. I don't need to have, like, a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to go hard one day because I get a euphoria from that. I get a high from that, you know? And I'm connecting with people who are doing that all the time, who are like, you know what? Fuck all the clout. This is what I do, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, if you do it, it's good to put that structure around it. You know what I mean? It's good to have a team. But, like, either way, do it.
Yeah, I don't do any of this for the clout. I never have. I've never understood social media, nor do I care for it. I care about creating music and creating a phenomenal day that'll live in everyone's memories.
Dude, like, that would be reward enough, right? For me.
Yes,
like,
for me too,
like
yes.
I wouldn't need any recognition for being like, I made your wedding day a little special. You know what I mean? Like, I did, you know? And you don't need to tell me about it. You don't need to say thank you. Because I know that it was better because I was there, you know? And no strings attached. This is just like what runs me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I see that from you guys, like, on everything. And I see that from you guys when you're talking, you know? Like when I was telling your brother about that, when I was telling Uni about that last week, or, you know, when we were at that party, like, the appreciation in his nods, he was like, I was just saying, like, man, like, you guys are good, dude. You guys, and he, like, just the appreciation is like, he didn't even say, like, you know, he didn't even say anything, you know? He was so humble about it, but he was like, thanks, you know? He's like, thanks, man. That means a lot. And I was like, dude, even in this moment, like, you're humble, bro. Like, you don't care about, like, any of the financial part of it, about the, you know, you're just like, dude, I made your day well. Like, and I did something good for you. And, like, if that's all I did, mission accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about it, and I think most people after their 9 to 5s, they just go home and they spend their weekend just hanging out, drinking, and whatever. I get to go every weekend and, you know, throw a party.
Yeah.
I get to be a part of someone's special moment.
Yeah.
That in itself is reward enough. And I keep telling Jonathan, like, dude, think about it like this. We're in thousands of photos and videos, and we don't know about this.
Yeah, 100%.
But people are sharing our stuff, like, they're sharing it to one another, like, oh, check this out and check that out. Hey, this was our wedding day. It was phenomenal. At the end of the day, I think that in itself is gratification, even though we'll never actually witness it ourselves. But that in itself, like you said, making someone's wedding day better, that's enough for us.
That's enough. So I was doing a bit of a deep dive on your guys' Instagram, you know, things like that. So I always like to go back to the first post, right? So I think it was like in March of like 2018, and you guys were doing like one of those, was it a Ciro like festival? Like, tell me more about that. I'm that's offensive the way I said it.
I actually don't recall what our first Instagram
It was
post was.
so.
Is this the picture of you, Jeffrey, and Huey outside of a church in a festival?
No, it was a video.
No.
With mask off.
Pedernal. It's Pedernal.
Mask off. Like,
Explain
you guys.
what Pedernal is.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think so Pedernal is it occurs the weekend of July 4th every year. That is a celebration of our church coming to fruition. So when you know, our community moved from India to America, they started this church, Ciro Malabar, in Chicago, and technically its birthday, or Pedernal, is the 4th of July weekend. So every year, and this is actually how we all met, most of us.
Yeah.
We all come together for celebrations and all that. We all got together because, you know, the church asked for, you know, musical performances, all that. So drummers all around got together. You know, his parents, my people and all that. We got together and, you know, played a little bit and, like, trained, and we played this. So every year, we will play for the community at Pedernal. So I think that is the very first Instagram post that you're speaking of. But yeah, so this will be a church, and we'll have a procession. We'll walk around the neighborhoods, and it's hilarious because all the people will come out of their houses like, "Oh man, this is lit!" You know,
it's like a parade, bro.
Yeah, it's a parade, and
man.
people join, people dance and jam with us. And
Never seen anything like that, man.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have that stuff, bro.
so that's actually how we all know each other,
That's
because
sick,
we
man.
celebrate the
That's
church
fucking
on a yearly basis. So that, I believe, is what you're talking about. The first Instagram post, yeah.
So actually, like, what you're talking about, it's been happening for a long time,
Right.
even before I was born, right?
Yeah.
But in that year, 2017, I believe it was, that post was made. My dad was actually someone that kind of sparked this up. He was
Okay.
like, "Hey, man, you guys should play to some music, live music. And he was like, you're in the marching band. Let's grab some guys from, the people that you know. And I have a bunch of buddies that play brass instruments.
Right.
It's like, hey, let's do something. Let's bring the culture back.
Yeah.
So I have some talented buddies that they put some stuff together, and we had a couple song requests from my dad, and we started with that stuff, and then my brother he's the guy that kind of sparked this whole thing. He's like, hey, let's try something new. Let's make this relatable, just like you said. Let's make it relatable to our generation. So at that time, Future Song was popping off. That summer. Yep.
Yeah, dude.
So we made that cover. We added our cultural flair to it, and that's when that came out.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
The it's like, so you guys do this thing like when you guys do your agenda, like you guys like will like lean in every now and then.
Yes.
And like I think the coolest part is that like you'll have like me, someone like me in the audience like leaning in, like you guys are like doing it. I'm like, let's go, every single time. Like, and like when I was watching that video, I was like leaning in. I was like leaning into the screen. I was like, all right. Awesome. Let me jump into this. You know what I mean? Let me see.
Bro, it's people like you that like really look into the details of this. That it just makes us so happy, man. Like it makes us feel like
because you're actually seeing it from that perspective. And the truth is, like, even to this day, when I lean in like that, I do it naturally without even thinking about it. Like, I'm just grooving to the music, enjoying the time with people. So for me, it comes naturally. But like you said, like I've noticed also people like jamming in and dancing around to that specific, that kind of movement. So, yeah.
Dude,
so thanks for noticing.
Oh, 100%, man. Like I'm tuned into you guys, right? Like I wouldn't have asked you guys here if I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like I'm along for the journey. You know what I mean? I'm watching you guys do your thing, man. Like, cheers, boys.
Cheers, brother.
No, man. I anyone who can have that effect on a crowd. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, so my mom is like really like all about the traditional Indian music, right? So like I showed her like a Khalid like Tiny Desk concert. Like, you guys, have you seen those?
Yeah.
So I showed her a Khalid Tiny Desk concert, and like I was noticing her, and she was like head bobbing, and like the thing about that is like when you have true like talent, it's gonna be cross cultural. It's gonna be cross like time. It's gonna be like it's gonna be timeless. Yes. So like the fact that like I didn't know you guys, right? Like before 2018, and then like, you got someone like me just like leaning in, like rocking back and forth. That's some shit, you know what I mean? That's powerful, man. And you can't ignore that. Like I can't ignore that. I can't ignore that. Like when I see like Manu performing or like the whole thing come together. That you're making me move, man. Like you're making it an experience for me. Yeah. I can't ignore that. Like I gotta tell you guys that. You should know that. You should know that you're doing that for people. You know what I mean? That's powerful, man.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, and I've never thought about it like that, as in like obviously yes, bringing people together, but like in terms of like the control that we have in the room. If anything, I want people to let go of the control. I want all of our people to let loose and go hard. So It's not about the control, but within that ability to lose control. Yeah, you're right. We have some sort of control on the room, and I think good times for all. Yeah. And if not, then why are we doing this?
Right. And like I said, no ego involved, right? It's not like you guys like know you do that, right? It just happens. Yeah. It happens naturally.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like people are trying to latch on to your vibe.
Yeah.
Like I am. I'm definitely trying to. Like I don't have any type of like, musical talent, but like if I can just jump around in the background, and make this an experience for myself included.
Yeah.
Like why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Because like you guys are doing this unremorsefully, right? You guys have no reservation about it.
No.
And how often as an adult do you do things without reservation? Like
most adults can't do that, and that scares the crap out of me. That's
right?
like the one thing I want to avoid in my entire life. So being here, doing this, showing people that you can actually do something without reservation, that in itself is humbling. But yeah, you're right. We can't do what we do if any of us had reservations.
Yeah. If you guys had any type of reservation, it wouldn't slap as hard, right? Like I wouldn't be leaning in. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be head bobbing. Yeah. Like if you guys didn't like just completely let go of inhibitions, it would be a structured fucking bullshit performance, right? It'd be like a pageant. And I'd be like, nah, man, I'm not here for that. I'm here for some raw shit. I'm
Yeah.
here for some shit that I can't really articulate, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, I know I had a good time. I know I came back. I was sweaty when I came back. You know what I mean? Like, I was jumping around a little bit. I burned some calories tonight, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, bro. I think that's the thing about having that camaraderie with the team, bro. Like, when I bring a group member with me, you know, when I have this guy with me, I'm just like, shit. You know, we're gonna just vibe.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, we're just gonna bring each other up, and that's what helps me bring that energy every time.
Yeah, man.
So,
Dude, tell me a little bit more about your time in India, dude.
So yeah, bro. I started that when I was 2, right?
Yeah.
So my grandma, she used to teach one of her students, and that student's son was a traditional chanda player, and he's the guy who I call my ashan, my master, right?
All right.
So going back from grade school every other year, right? I would train for a couple months, like practicing on a rock and playing with a thick ass stick.
Okay.
And just playing chanda every year. So then that's where I learned, you know, all these traditional melams and things like that, and also some of the hype stuff, right? So then I was thinking, you know, as I grew older, you know, getting to that high school age, 2015, 2016, one specific guy from our church said, hey, you know, we're tired of seeing these dole players at these weddings. Like, we want some Malu representation here,
Hell
right?
yeah.
So this is kind of a fast forward, you know,
Yeah.
10 years later,
Sure.
10, 12 years later. And I was just like, all right, fine. We've been doing this at the church for so many years. Let's play for your entrance, right? So they want the energy,
Yeah.
right? So I saw them bring it back home in India. And, like, I was taught some of that stuff, you know, every other year. And I was like, you know what? We need to bring our own element. We need to make our stuff unique,
Yeah.
right? So since that groom brought us over and had us just play pure chanda for his entrance, you know, every year from there, we were like, hey, how are we going to make this relatable?
Yeah.
That's with, hey, mixing contemporary music with our traditional drums, you know? So we're not just purely traditional. We respect that stuff, and we are aware of all that stuff here, but we try to make it our own performance every year.
Yeah,
you know?
dude, I commend that. Like, in the for example, the timelessness of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so instead of rejecting, like, the tradition, right? You made it your own. And, like, what we were talking about, right, before we hopped on here was, like, for example, like, when I was in, like, my religious setting, right? Like, we were talking about, like, did your parents, like, when you went to college, ever talk to you about, like the minutia, like sex, like, you know, like, drinking, like, drugs, like, how to deal with people from other cultures, right? No. Like, the answer for me was no. But what I tried to do in my religious setting was, I was, like, running a youth group, right, at my temple. And when I would try to bring up these topics, they kick me out. They were like, no, you can't. But I'm like, dude, these are the things that Indian youth need to talk about. They need to talk about, like, hey, like, you're going to start talking to girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're not going to have that supervision. How do you pivot through the conversation?
Yeah.
Right? And you know what? You don't have the tools for that because all we're talking about is scripture.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in your own way, right, you guys are making something that is traditional, relatable.
Yes.
And that way, you carry it on, right? You make sure people want to be around this, right? You make sure people, like, want to stay in the realm of all these things. They don't want to leave it and go cold turkey into their own realm, right?
Right.
So, like, that's another thing that I can appreciate about what you guys do is because I'm not even involved. I'm not Malu, dude. But I want to be involved, right?
Yeah.
You make an inclusive environment for us to be collaborative. You're not like vendors who are not relatable at a wedding. Like, I've talked to Manu at every single wedding that we've been to, right? He's gotten a drink with me. We've cheers. We've said, hey, look, when can I come on the podcast, man? Like, who else is going to do that for me, right? Like, so you make it relatable for not only your audience as a couple, right? As the newlyweds, but as an audience member,
Yeah.
right? Like, I've connected with you guys on multiple occasions. You've made time for me.
Yes. I think we do a good job of that because, I mean, yeah, we're there as a vendor, but we're there because, you know, the people, the community support us.
Yes.
So if we're not there to, you know, welcome those people, why are we doing this? You know, Danny Joseph, for example, we were in Austin last week, right? I didn't know almost anyone there.
Yeah.
Danny Joseph knew, like, everybody there. So he was going around, you know, cheersing with everyone, like saying hello, talking, catching up and all that.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to see that, you know, because there's a huge Malu community there that I didn't. This was my first time in Austin, so I didn't really know anyone. But to see Danny have a camaraderie with everyone, that's important. That's the part of the community that actually matters, you know, because without that camaraderie, there's really no reason for anyone to get involved in the culture.
Danny has an uncanny ability to get in with anybody. Right?
Yeah,
Shout out to that fucking Apu, bro. Get on my podcast, dude.
Dude, going along with that, bro, like I feel like sometimes, you know, with me having the background that I do, all I do is I go in there and just do my thing, right? I'm just focused on the drumming. But these guys bring that other side in me. They're like, hey, go and vibe.
Connect.
Interact. Yeah. Connect. Go talk to them. Have a conversation, you know?
Yeah.
Like, get out of that shell of just playing the drums, coming out, you know? So, I honestly appreciate my boys for bringing that out of me. You know, my brother, this guy, Danny, all these guys.
Yeah, it makes me really emotional to talk about it, right? Because when you got a group of dudes that want the best for you, you've hit the jackpot.
Yes.
Right? You hit it because they truly just there's nothing they're not going to gain from it, right? They're your boys. They want you to be your best self. Yes. You know what I mean? Like and when you find that, man, you got to hold on to that shit because dude, how many people in your life really want the best for you? There's probably you could probably count them on your one hand, right?
Yeah.
And like when you like I said, when you get that group of dudes who you can link up with and you get the momentum going with, man, you better cherish that because that's few and far in between. Like especially as like I'm not old or anything like that, but like I'm 30 now, man, and you realize like friend groups and stuff like that. There's some people that'll be around for the good times, right? But like who's gonna pull you aside? Who's gonna say, yo, this will be the next step for you? And you know, you might not like it, but I'm your boy and I gotta tell you that, you know? There's not many people who are gonna do that for you because that's tough. That's hard. You know, it's not easy to have that conversation.
And most people will shy away from that. You're right. And I mean, me personally, that's what gives me all my power being in this group. It's that I trust all these guys, you know, and these guys are going to be there for me, just like I'm going to be there for them.
Yeah.
So having people like that, it's just... That's one of the reasons why, you know, I stay in the Chicagoland area. Actually, no, that's the only reason I stayed here. The plan was to move to Maryland 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
3 years ago, I was supposed to go to Johns Hopkins and get my master's degree and then live there and work there for the FDA and all that.
Sure.
But then out of the blue, I got a full-time role with an old family friend, Jomi Joseph, and on top of that same exact week, Jeffrey Kochuveettil hit me up. He's like, yo, dude, I'm running this. I need your help. Yeah. I'm like, yo, I got you, fam. Ever since then, you know, it's just been brotherhood through and through, you know, not just the music, you know, it's in and out of the wedding scene. We've been together.
Yeah.
3 whole years.
Yeah.
So.
And like through that, I'm sure you guys have gone through your personal like ups and downs, right? Mm-hmm. Like, dude, I can't imagine it being easy. Like you doing your full-time gig, right?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? I can't imagine it. Like you probably went through your ups and downs, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You probably went through your mental health issues. You the same way, right? Like, you know, COVID was a big thing for everybody, right? Yeah. And I can't imagine that you guys went through it alone, right? And just imagine if you didn't have like, you know, Manu with you, if you didn't have Uni with you, you know, vice versa, right? Yeah. If you didn't have them with you on these gigs, like telling you, man, look, dude, we're bros. Like, we're going to get this done. We're going to smash this. You know what I mean? That to me is therapy, dude. That to me can resolve issues for you.
For real. Dude, like 6 years ago, bro, when I was heavily involved in the marching band, drumline. Yeah. That was my whole life in high school, bro. All 4 years. Getting out of it, my brother was like, hey, man. It's like, you are so passionate about this. You're going to miss this, right? You're going to forget about this with physical therapy school. These 6 years are going to eat you away.
Yeah.
Right? And he was like, you need to think of something to keep up with this. And that's where this whole thing started. So honestly, man, like, he's the guy that got me involved with this. Jeffrey, dude, like, if you're listening to this, man, shout out to you.
Oh, dude, bro. I'm sending this right to him, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So him, and then this guy coming along, man. So, like, there've been huge blessings in my life, man. Yeah. Like, just bringing out the best of me. And, like you said, bro, that camaraderie has been huge for me.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, whatever I was going through with school, that stress, getting away from it for some bit, you know, like doing performances, even if it's for our church.
Yeah.
You know, we're just getting away from all that stuff and just playing our hearts away. And that's what, like, helped me, especially forget about, like, the real, you know, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 work life. You know?
Dude, I could tear up,
Yeah.
right, hearing you say that to me, because you know, life is tough, man.
Yeah.
Like, life will throw shit at you, man. And like, if you don't have things like you guys have, bro, like, it's gonna be hard. Like, life's gonna be tough, you know. And like, you got a long career ahead of you. You have a long career ahead of you, right? You got 30, 40 years ahead of you.
Yeah.
How you guys gonna do it?
Yeah.
Without your boys, man? How you guys gonna do it without like people that like are rooting for you, man, unconditionally?
Yes.
That people are like don't have a stake in your success, right? Manu doesn't have any like stake in your success, and you don't have any stake in his success. But aside from that, you guys come together and you through tests, through pandemics, through tough times with parents and stuff, you guys put it all aside to be there for each other.
Yeah.
Bro, that is something, I'll kid you not, as you get older, you don't see that as much. People branch off into their own things, man. They're not there for everybody else, you know? So, like, I can commend that, right? Like, not only the performance you guys put, but the energy you guys give off, right? Like, if you encourage me to be closer to my friends, I'm going to keep you guys around a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm going to try to connect with you guys. Because that look that you guys give each other, that nod that you give each other, that's all I need. I don't need to even hear what it's all about. I need to know that like you guys, there's somebody out there doing that.
Because you can see it.
Exactly.
And you can't. No one can lie about that. You can see it. Anyone can see it.
Dude, you can't. Like the smile, the smirk that your brother gave me when I said that. You know when I give you guys a compliment.
Yeah.
You can't fake that.
Yeah.
Like that's genuine, right? That's genuine fulfillment.
Yes.
And bro, we all try to grind in our careers for a taste of that, right?
Yeah.
But if you guys have a full like mouthful of it,
Yeah.
what else do you need, man?
No, you're absolutely right. And on that note, I mean, I've learned a lot, you know, going through this journey, you know, being a vendor and learning the business side of things. And I've taken all that and the teamwork side of things, and I've taken all of what I've learned in Kochuveettil Beats and actually brought it to my professional life.
Yeah.
And it has taken me up the ranks pretty quickly. And I can honestly say that without Kochuveettil Beats, in my other job, I wouldn't be running my own department, you know?
Right.
Because it's a soft skills that I learned. It's like how to deal with people and manage stress, not for myself. And think, mind you, like I have to help manage the stress for the players, for coordinators, for the bride and groom. You know,
Yeah.
like being able to solve problems on the go, that kind of ad hoc, like times 100, like that definitely helped me quite literally grow as a person,
Yeah.
but also professionally.
Yeah.
You know, so it actually feeds into one another.
Right.
You know?
What's I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but what's like an example of it? Like, give me an example of like something that might have happened, like it might have been an issue, right?
Yeah.
In Kochuveettil Beats, you don't have to put like exact names and stuff to it, but like, give me like a lesson learned.
Simplest lesson for me, always have a backup.
Okay.
And not just a backup plan, but a backup. So when I was running my own processes back in my old company, there were a lot of departments that had to chime in. And if one person was missing, we couldn't conduct our meeting successfully. And that would mean holding off products for big clients like John Deere or Caterpillar.
Sure.
So from Kochuveettil Beats, from having Jeffrey and me stress on each other that we need to have a backup in case something goes wrong, a backup drummer, a backup trumpeter, I brought that into the professional setting where, hey, these departments, you guys need to have a backup. If you don't make it, you need to have someone else. Because if you don't, these clients will come back and complain. And lo and behold, moving forward, we were able to solve a whole bunch of problems without those, you know, main people. So that's actually one quick example that I can think of.
Dope, man. Like failure is not an option, right?
No.
Like you're gonna make sure you hit the mark, right? And I've never seen a miss from Kochuveettil Beats, right? I've never seen a miss.
Neither have I.
And I think that's a perfect example, right? Like when, like as a grown up, right? Like I'm not gonna say as a man, like I'm gonna say as a grown up. Like as a grown up, like you need to commit to that, right? You commit to professional excellence, right? And not for any other reason, but that's what I hold myself to, right? I hold myself to a standard where like if I'm gonna come to this interaction, I'm gonna give it my best, you know? And you know, I don't like to connect with people who aren't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't like to connect with people who aren't gonna give me their best version. Because when you give me your best version, you're gonna force me to I'm gonna give you my best version.
Exactly.
Right? And if we come together on that, that's something like intangible that you can't really put a price on or anything like that, right?
Exactly.
Because like even we go back to the weddings, right? Manu, you're gonna give me your best for my wedding. Did I not give you my best?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did I not burn a fucking 2,000 calories on that day? Was I not jumping around with you, right? Like I was like, I'm gonna match you on that, bro. I'm gonna match you on your energy because you're gonna force me to be my best self, right? And that's the people I'm trying to surround myself with, right? Like if you're gonna support me, like obviously I'm gonna have my low moments, right? And you're gonna support me through those moments. But if you're gonna like be okay with me being down in my dumps, bro, you gotta get me there, right? Like you gotta get me to a point where I am the best part of myself by leading by example.
Yes.
And that's what you guys do every single time I see you guys, right? Like I said, I never see a miss. Like let me see a miss and then I might talk to you, right? But like I'm not gonna see it. I don't think I'm gonna see it. Like because the prep is there, the professional excellence is there, and the candor is there.
Yes.
That's brotherhood to me, right? And like I said, when you get that momentum going, when you guys are constantly trying to like, let's go, that is contagious, man. You need to cherish that, bro.
Bro, I will say though, that day we had multiple events. Like the day that you got married.
Yeah.
So like I didn't have my right hand man. I didn't have my brother there.
Yeah.
You know. So when I saw you, man, like I saw you on top of the fire truck going crazy. I was like, dude, this guy brought the goddamn energy. Like it was hype, dude. It was contagious, bro. So then I just did my thing based off that. Bro.
Like I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna match you, bro. Like if you're gonna bring it, I'm gonna bring it. Right? Like I'm not gonna like let it slide. Like you know what I mean? I'm gonna take that personally. I'm gonna say, yo, Manu, my groomsman, DJ Crush, like everyone's bringing their A game. How am I not gonna bring my A game? Right? Am I gonna be a buster on this day?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna fucking crown champion on this day? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like I need that for my boys, dude. I need someone to keep me honest. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And like, for example, if like I guarantee you I won't go a couple weeks or even a few days without seeing you practicing. I won't.
Yeah.
I just literally won't see it. Like every few days, I'm gonna see Manu, this Manu, that Manu, Uni, anyone. I'm gonna see something. Right? And then I'm gonna be like, yo, what am I doing? Amr, what are you doing to bring that energy that he's bringing?
That is a very good point. To be fair, though, Kochuveettil Beats usually doesn't record their practice sessions, but Jonathan likes to flaunt it. He's good at it.
He's good at it.
But
That's
you
why.
you actually bring a good point. Up until this moment, in all honesty, Amr, Jeffrey's asked me to record my practice sessions, and I've always laughed at him because I'm like, no, because I know what I'm practicing, I know what I'm doing. But the truth is, you're right. Jonathan practicing the way he does it, it definitely, if it can inspire people to ask that question, that in itself is reason enough to show that this is what we're doing. And there's a whole bunch of that going on behind the scenes from everybody in the group that we're not showing.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like when you guys use social media the right way, it's not vain. Right? Do I not react to every single thing that you guys post? Right? It's because it's because I'm like, yo, Oni's grinding. Right? Yeah. And it's not vain. You're not like sitting there like, oh, I'm a shit. Like we're Kochuveettil. Yeah. It's like, no, man. You're sitting there like in your basement or like with and you're drumming, right? And half the time you're not really even looking at the camera, so you're not like doing this for any purpose. Right. And I'm like, so inevitably, I'm gonna be like, Umar, are you prepping for your next podcast? Are you reaching out to new people, right? And it's not even apples to apples, right? Like you're doing something completely different, but because I know you and you put out that energy, and I took the time to get to know you, I'm like, bro, Umar, get that young boy energy like Manu's got right now, right? Get that young boy energy like when Uni responds to you saying that like, yo, like put way too sexy on your playlist. You know what I mean? Like I know that he was thinking about that off hours. He was like, yo, Umar, do this. And I'm like, what am I doing off hours? Am I thinking about positive shit? Am I like trying to be better? You know, because Manu's trying to be better. This Manu's trying to be better. Uni's trying to be better. Yeah. What am I gonna do? Like I don't want to invite you guys over if I don't have shit to say, right? Yeah. If I don't have good things to say, because then I'm doing you guys a disservice almost, right? Like you guys are hustling every single day. Why would I waste your fucking time with like mediocrity, right? So I want to match you.
Game recognizes game.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right. I mean, that's how I see him. You know, this money. I see him practice all the time. I see how he does the gigs, and I'm like, I got to learn from that.
Yeah.
If he's bringing his A game and then some, I got to bring my A game and then some.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I hope that, you know, everyone sees our social media and has that kind of mentality. Kudos to you, because up until this point, I wasn't even thinking about it like that, you know. But that's because, you know, we're all drummers and practice. For me, practice makes perfect. Hey, this guy just shows too much on Instagram. But the truth is, yeah, he kind of brings that out in everyone. He brings everyone questions like, okay, can we get to Jonathan's level on drumming? Can we get to Jonathan's level on working?
Yeah.
Consistently to be a better person. Not a better drummer, for example, I'm Ummer. It wouldn't be a better drummer for you. It'd be a better person, whatever it is that you're working, a better podcaster. For me, you know, am I being the best VP? Am I being the best
the best version, the best version of yourself?
Am I being the best right hand for Jeffrey Thomas, as Jeffrey Thomas is on the East Coast, you know? So you bring a really good point.
Like, I'll say this. I don't want to be you, bro. I don't want to be you either. But you trying to be the best you is going to make me be the best me, right? Mm-hmm. And so that way, it's not apples to apples, but it's all love, right? Like I'm not going to try to be a better drummer. I'm not a drummer, dude. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to try to be the best version of Ummer that I can be. And if you're trying to be the best version of Manu, then let's link up on that, right? But I have nothing but love. I have nothing but like unconditional love for you, because your success doesn't mean I'm gonna have no success, right? Like, we can both be successful, and if not, bro, why can't I support you? Why can't I be happy for you? Why can't I bob my head when you're in the room? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Why can't I do that? So, like, dude, again, like, the ego. If you had ego in it, I'd be like, get the fuck out of my place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
like, you guys don't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like, the fact that you guys don't have egos when someone like Waka Flocka is retweeting your shit is pretty fucking commendable, man. Like, you know what I mean? You guys are out there, man. People know you guys. You guys are in demand, you know? And like, dude, we're sitting here, we fucking ate some Mediterranean food. We just like drank some scotch, man. You guys still make time for me, man, and I appreciate that, dude. Like, you guys didn't have to do this. And you guys did it, and like, it's really beneficial for me, man. I'm gonna come out of this with a lot of energy, dude, to like keep moving in my life, you know. And I want you guys to know that you do that for people, you know.
Damn.
Maybe not a lot of people, maybe,
but enough.
But enough.
Hey, if we do it for one person, just one person in the world, that in itself is an epic win for me,
dude.
All right, so
cheers, bro.
Cheers to you,
boys. Yeah, I mean, this is sick, dude. But coming back down a little bit, dude. So I'm on.
Let the record show that I'm about to shed a tear.
So I'm on Instagram, right? And I see Manu in New Orleans smashing on some random dude's drum on the street, bro.
It's not the only thing.
Tell me about that a little bit,
bro. So actually, I was on my brother's bachelor party,
okay,
you know, for his wedding. Yeah. And then, so I see this band, and then my cousins are amping me up. They're like, dude, like, you know this stuff, right? Yeah, like, so I was like, dude, I was just vibing to their music. I was like, I need to be part of this.
Yeah.
You know? So then my cousin, Danny, he's like, all right, I'm just going to tip this guy money. I want this guy to just be part of this. I know he's feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
And he knew how excited I got listening to another, you know, live band.
Right.
So he was like, hey, can you give this guy a chance to just play? And then after that, you know, we just felt that chemistry together, bro. Like, it was just instantaneous.
Dude,
like,
you could see like the reluctance in the guy at first. He's like, yo, what the fuck is this? And as soon as you started going, he's like, oh, yo, this is fucking dope. And then, like, you know what I mean? And like after a while, like, you're going in, and that dude's like bobbing his head, just like I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, he's just sitting there like, oh, holy shit, this guy knows what he's doing, dude. And like, dude, like, you know, I've been to New Orleans too, man. And like, you know, you're drinking a little bit, you're going downtown.
Oh, yeah.
And for you to be able to like turn up like a street like that, dude, I'm like, yo, that is like, if I had a talent like that, I wish I could do some shit like that. That was fucking cool, man.
I appreciate that, bro. And like I said, bro, that was like, you know, a couple years into undergrad, you know, where I stopped the whole marching band stuff. So it was like nostalgic coming back into this and hearing a live band play with some brass instruments. You know, like my cousin and my brother, they knew how happy I was, like, coming into that. So they're like, we'll throw whatever money to let this guy just perform with this band.
Yeah, dude, that look in your eyes.
Yeah.
Like, again, you can't replicate that, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can't replicate like the actual love for the craft, man. And like I see that time and time again. Like, dude, you were just like, this dude was just like in awe, and you were just sitting there like slamming it, man, just like getting it done, dude.
Bro, sometimes I wonder, I'm like, what do people think about like the facial expressions I make? Because I look at the videos, the next day, I'm like, holy crap, like this is, I didn't know that I look like this when I'm playing the drums.
Dude, like real art is not polished, man.
Yeah,
it's really not. Like if you had any other face than the one you have, I'd be like, this dude's faking his shit. Like this ain't right, man. He's trying to rehearse this, dude. It's gonna be a struggle, right? Like, it's not easy to like make art. You know what I mean? Like, if you were comfortable doing it, like it's just like really comfortable, I'd be like, there's more. Like, there's more. You need to pull out more from you, right? But like you struggle a little bit, right? Like you're trying to figure it out, and like because your eyes are so dilated, you're like in it. You know what I mean? And like, dude, if it was normal, if it was easy, I'd be like, you're not working hard enough. You know what I'm saying? So like, I can appreciate the fact that like every time you do it, you're putting yourself in a situation where you might fuck up. Like, you might look stupid, but like it's worth it, because you're gonna dig deep and find something new about Manu in there, and like that's what I see every time, man. Like, you should never ever try to fuck with your facials, man. Do it.
I appreciate that.
No inhibitions. You're right. No, that's good though. I think every city that we go to, for example, like we went to Dallas and Houston, and Robin Tomas, Tracy Baker, and I like to go to the nearest guitar center just to jam and warm up. And the moment someone comes in and like, hey, can we borrow some sticks to jump on the drum set? Everyone's like, what the hell? Okay, great. And then we start playing, and everyone's like, oh shit, what up? So it's the same reaction, because no one knows who we are, but then we show that this is what we do. We're not there at Guitar Center to show off to anyone. We're there to do our thing, be in our element, get warmed up.
Yeah.
So you can't fake that.
Cannot.
And you can screw up, and that's fine. But that makes us human, and part of art is being human, and vice versa, if I say so.
Dude, cheers, boys. I think the human component thing like is something you can't downplay, right? It's the one thing that you have that no one else has, right? Like these two munners right here, right? Like, your flavor is something that no one can replicate. Yeah. You should run with that.
I can't replicate his flavor.
Right? And he can't replicate yours.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
And like, even Uni, like, you can't replicate his. Like, his demeanor, like, I see it in you, but it's not the same.
It's not, no.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and it shouldn't be. Like, it should be different.
Yeah.
Right? And like, that's the reason I ask for you, right? Because like, I know what you do. I know what Uni does. But today, I want this. Do you know what I mean? And no one can replicate it. Yeah. And that's why I want that. Because if it was like, in this age that we have of automation and technology, everything is really apples to apples, right? It can be similar. But Amr can give you something that nobody else can give you. Yes. You can't find it. Like, it's right here. Yes. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm looking for. And how do you make that, like, desirable, right? Yeah. How do you make it desirable where, like, only Kochuveettil Beats can give you that? No other dolly can give you what Kochuveettil Beats gives you, because that is unique intellectual property to Kochuveettil Beats.
Yeah, and no other Chenda group in America can do what we do.
Right?
But also like at that flavor and quality, but it's because the human component, you're right. It's not replicable. You could try, you're not going to get there.
You're not going to get there.
So that's what makes it unique. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, that's what the thing is, like, like, I grew up traditionally like Hindu, right? And we have a specific type of dolly, right? But I said, I don't want that. I want what Manu gives, right? No. I want what he provides to an interaction.
That's respect, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
Oh yeah, man. 100%. Cheers, bro. I want that.
Yeah.
Like, I had options, right?
Yeah.
And I did my homework, but there's something that you guys give that no one else does. So how am I gonna get that? Let me get that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And I'm all about that. I'm all about it, because the second you get standardized with me, I'm done. I'm over it. Like, the second you treat me like anybody else, I'm over. I'm done.
Yeah.
Get out of my face.
Oh no, and there's a lot of people like that for sure, and we actively avoid them too, because we don't need any of that. Everyone's unique in their own aspect. I go through life thinking that anyone and everyone can teach you at least one thing that you do not know yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you teach me, I teach you.
Right.
You know, and same goes for everyone in the group. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. We all learn from each other. Jonathan learns a little bit more about managing events from me. I learn a little bit more about, sexy gender roles from Money. So
for sure, man. For sure. What are some of your outside of Chicago, what are some of your favorite spots to perform at? City-wise.
I would say Houston, bro. Houston is...
They seem to know what's up out there, man, in Texas.
Bro, there's
dude.
something... Like, the thing is, man, like, I would say obviously Chicago's number one, right? But, like, anywhere outside of Chicago, Houston, bro, the appreciation those guys give us, and the love they have for our Malayali music is something else, man.
Yeah.
That crowd, bro. Houston people, shout out to you.
Shout
man.
out to
Serious.
Houston, man.
Yeah,
I've never
man.
been, dude. I gotta get out there.
I mean, you can also talk.
I've been to Houston many times. So, but me personally, I actually went to Detroit, Michigan recently with some of our guys, and this was the very first Kochuveettil Beats gig in Michigan, Detroit, and they have they're well versed in our music, so they know all this music. They know the rhythms, and this is the first time ever where they've seen Chenda the way we do it.
Yeah.
Because they're used to traditional Chenda and they see it at a church and they're like, it's not hype. But then they saw us like, whatever this is, we need it.
Yeah.
So they have a huge appreciation. They know their music. So shout out to Detroit, Michigan. Dallas is the same way, in my opinion. They actually understand the rhythms pretty well. They understand the music too. One of our clients, Nimesh and Sharon, we went in as vendors, right? And I posted this on Instagram today, but we went as vendors, but we came back as lifelong friends.
Nice.
Because I was there to make sure that their day was hype.
Yeah.
Nimesh and I in another lifetime could have been best friends, no joke. But but the fact is, like, his people, they understood Malayalam music, they understand, hip hop, they understand the party.
Yes.
They understand the vibe. So for them, it wasn't like very structured, but they made sure that everything partied hard. Everyone had a good time. It was a vibe all in all. So
Yeah.
I respect Dallas for that.
Dude, it seems like Texas is a spot. I've never been to Texas, man. But it seems like they
It's very nice.
got
It's
they
hot.
got shit out there. Dude.
bro,
They got the
Southern
good stuff.
hospitality is
It's
real.
legit.
a real thing, bro.
Yes.
Those people, man.
Yeah.
The way that they treat you, bro.
They know how to eat, they know how to drink, and they definitely know how to party.
Dude, I mean, I hear good things. So, like, I got a couple Kana boys, and they do the convention out there every now and then. So I hear a lot of good things about Texas, man. I hear a lot of really, really good things about Texas. But you know what, dude? I gotta know. You know what I gotta know about? Is what's up with that dance, man? What's up with that dance that Uni made you do back in the day, bro?
Oh, snap, bro.
I gotta know about that, dude.
Bro, so, like...
You got the moves, dog. You got the moves.
I appreciate that. So, growing up, man, I used to always beat my brother's pet, man. So,
Okay.
like... I would always... So, the only thing that I could do is, like, I could try to nag him and then just run away, right? So, like, he would always whoop me.
Yeah.
Every time, I would do something. So, that was one of those days. I would try to do something to irritate him and run away. So, he's like, all right, we have a webcam. My parents used to use that to video chat people
In India?
yeah, all that stuff, right? So, he's like, all right, I'm going to make a clown out of you. So, he took me... He was like, oh, you're getting on my case. You're irritating me. So then he just put me on camera. He's like, we're going to post this video and humiliate you,
Yeah.
So that's how that video came out. Yeah, man. So,
Dude, I mean, you seemed into it though, bro. You seemed like you were about that life, man.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got some swag in there,
absolutely.
dude. The head on and shit, dude. That was dope, dude. Yeah, I mean, that's some big brother, little brother shit.
Yeah,
right there,
bro.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
No,
gotta happen.
bro, so, like, honestly, that's evolved, especially with this company, bro. Like, he's brought the best out of me.
Yeah?
I was like, bro, I told him this past summer with my full-time job as a PT, I was like, hey, I have to study for this license exam. You let me know when to come for a wedding, like when to get booked, whatever. Just keep me busy all summer.
Dude,
He's like, say less.
I didn't know that, man. Like,
Yeah.
so I thought it was all you.
Yeah.
I thought you were running everything.
No.
And then, like, communicating with, like, him on the Kochuveettil Beats page
Yeah.
versus you on your specific page, right, for your own Instagram. I thought it was just one dude,
Yeah.
right? But then, like, after meeting him repeatedly, I'm like, oh shit, y'all got a full effort behind this,
Yeah.
man. And then once I saw, I was like, mad respect, dude, because you guys are coming at this professionally.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, you got the talent, you know, over here.
Yeah.
And then you got the admin on the back end doing the shit. And I'm like, bro, but at the same time, like, you know, what I was saying was, it feels like I'm talking to you, right? It feels like I'm talking to you because he's making it seem that way, right? And that's another bonus of what you guys do, is that I feel like I'm talking to the performers when I'm really not, right?
Bro.
I didn't know that until like recently.
That's the thing. I commemorate this guy every time, bro. Like he's the body behind our success. To be honest, I mean, this guy can attest to it too.
Definitely.
Like I think about the playing. That's all I want to do. I don't want
Like
to
you
deal
just
with
get a
any
directive to
customer.
show up.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't want any customer service stuff. I don't want to deal with it, bro.
Yeah.
So Jeff is the guy that does all that stuff. I'm like, hey, like no matter whoever reaches out to me, you're gonna have to go through Jeff because I want you to get the best experiences possible. And this guy will make it for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So he's
The
like
gatekeeper,
honestly the
man.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna make sure it all goes smoothly. And like I said, it's seamless. I didn't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't even know as an outsider, right? It's like you guys know on the inside.
Yeah.
But like again, it's a cohesive interaction, right?
Yeah.
Because when I communicate via the Kochuveettil Beats page, you know what I said though, right? Like,
Yeah,
he told
absolutely.
you. He told you what I said. So it is kind of like I'm talking to you specifically.
Yeah.
But somebody's handling it, so you have that free of mind to just do your thing.
Yes.
Right?
And the crazy thing is, bro, this guy will even know too. Even if it's not an event to deal with him, he's like, okay, you know, Amr said this. This is what's happening. Just in case Jeff doesn't answer his
Backup.
phone, we got a backup guy.
Yeah, I'm
you know?
the backup guy, but
Like-
Jeff knows that I love managing events. Like
Yeah.
I'm a coordinator too, so that's what I like to do. So if there's anything like I developed the website, you know, and I still have to revamp the website, but yeah, I like to help out in the back end because
Yeah.
I like helping the business side. But I'll also, you know, like him, I also like to drum. So I'm like half and half in between, you know, both brothers.
Yeah.
So
It's really interesting because I think that, you know, when anything starts to scale, right? Like
Yeah.
you start putting people in compartments, right? Like you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. But that's not the case with you guys, right? Like you guys still double dip in the other parts of your business,
Yes.
you know?
We need to.
And that's like a huge benefit, right? Like even coming from a corporate environment, like what I try to do at work is really know every part of this thing so that I can speak to it.
Yes.
Right? Because if I only know a specialized part and you ask me a question and I say no or I don't know, that's gonna reflect poorly on us.
Yes.
You know? But like the cohesiveness of your unit is like I feel like you guys don't give yourself enough credit for that. Right? Like it's a real thing because if I was talking to Uni and I actually am interacting with you and you don't know what I just said, that's kind of fucked up, right? Like that's kind of like shitty.
Yes.
Because I'm paying you for this, right?
Yes.
But no, that's not true. Like when I speak to Uni, he's communicating it down to you two or to
Yes.
everybody else.
Yes.
And you guys are communicating the same thing. So I have faith on my wedding day that you guys have your shit together.
Exactly.
And more at baseline, that's what I want to know. I want to know that you guys aren't like completely in the dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My goal with Kochuveettil is to make sure everyone understands that no matter who you are client-wise, we have our shit together, so you don't have to worry about it on your wedding. It's your wedding day.
Yeah.
Enjoy it as much as you can, because I've seen wedding days where like the bride and groom are completely stressed. That freaks me out. You know,
Right.
I would never want that on my wedding day. So going to each and every one, I think like that. So that's why, whether you're talking to Jeffrey, me, Jonathan, or we have a client call with all of us, we relay the information to everyone on our team. There are no questions on the day of. If there are questions, there are simple things that the coordinator could handle.
Yeah.
If not, we take the reins for the most part, and everything comes out just fine.
Yep. Well, boys, I think we did about an hour and a half today. Time flew by, right? It was really nice and easy.
Seriously.
I think we should do this like as an annual thing, man. We should try to do this like
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
like once a year or something at least. It'd be fun.
Bro,
But-
we need you as our spirit animal, man. Sometimes, like at these events, bro, like
You
your
see me-
energy is contagious
You
too,
see me
man.
jumping around at places,
Seriously,
man. Like,
man.
you know what I mean?
We need you out there more often, bro, just to come through.
Dude, you know, man, what I'll leave with, you know, is that, you know, Kochuveettil Beats is a one-of-a-kind brand, you know, and you know, what they bring to an engagement or an environment or an atmosphere is something that you cannot replicate. I can't put my finger on it. I can't describe it, but it's needed, right? It's something that you guys should run with. You should lean into it more. You know what I mean? You guys should run with it because it's contagious. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave at that, right? But you guys, I know you guys have a lot on the horizon, right? You guys can do a lot of great things, and I just look forward to being, not part of it, but witnessing it, right? And you guys are awesome, man. Thank you for connecting with me today, bro. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
it's
seriously.
been our pleasure being here with you.
All right,
You're
bro.
a
Be a
great
lot
host,
to think
bro.
about too.
Yes, sir. We'll do this again, right? We'll do this again.
Let's do it.
But this has been awesome, and I appreciate you guys. Much
Thank you,
love, my
brother,
bros.
man.
Yes, sir.